Hey y'all, welcome back to Comics CC Studio, and we are talking about is Krypto a good dog? So just a few things. I will be looking at notes on my computer, but yeah, we've been doing a 3-part series about Krypto, the super dog, the last dog of Krypton. Is he a good boy? Is he a good dog? Man, he's been getting into a lot of trouble. So last we left Clark, he threw a beam into outer space and sent Krypto to retrieve it because Lana, did she see? Did she not see? So as it turns out, Lana did see Clark carrying a steel girder or beam, and she's gonna start calling him Superboy. She's like, "All right, fine. Like I've proven it now. You were carrying something super heavy. I know you're Superboy." Well, let's see here. Before Clark addresses Lana calling him Superboy, he has to go find Krypto and return the steel beam. Because again, he was worried that Lana would see them, so he launched the beam into space. Krypto went after it, and that's where he went. So, well, in space, we find Krypto chasing a meteor, not a cat. So, Superboy and Krypto return to Earth, and only to find an actual cat. So the cat starts running. He's running through a brick wall, like a hole in the wall. And for any normal dog chasing a cat, if the dog were too big, that would be totally fine. However, Krypto is a super dog, which Superboy forgets. So he's like, it's a small hole he won't fit through. Well, he does. So then after a supersonic whistle that only Krypto could hear and not people, Krypto comes running back. He leads Superboy to where he actually got the steel beam from. Yeah, so Krypto is becoming quite the headache. So has your pet ever been a headache to you and caused some like problems or issues that you were like, oh my gosh, this dog, this cat, this pet? Let me know. Comment below. So they go fix Clark, Clark gets Krypto to show him where the bridge is, right? And he's like, all right, where'd you get this thing? So he goes back, he fixes it, but then he gives Krypto a talking to. He's like, look, like, so here's the thing, is Superboy biting off more than he can chew, so he's, yeah, it's like he wants to have fun. He wants a dog, but Krypto, being a super dog, is doing things that a super dog, the normal dog, wouldn't dream of, but a super dog does, right? And so it's just like, is he becoming more of a headache than he's worth in having the fun? But then Clark thinks of a plan to secure his secret identity again. So he's walking towards Alana with a big ladder. She assumes it's made of steel and heavy, so she's like, aha, got you. And then Clark throws it at her, but she catches it. Well, first of all, I don't recommend throwing things at anyone unless you're tossing a ball or playing catch or the person knows. But it doesn't matter if the ladder is light or not. That's probably not a great idea. But nonetheless, she catches it. And remembers about hearing about the ladders that are, it's not aluminum. I forget what it is in the comic. But basically, it's like, it's a lighter material, right? So it's like, okay. So he's trying to prove that he's not super strong. She just saw things or expected something that wasn't there. Well, then they look up and there is a figure with a cape flying overhead. She assumes it's Superboy, and she assumes she made a mistake. She's like, how could I be so silly, right? Well, in actuality, Superboy had made a boomerang and threw it up in the air, and Krypto was chasing it. And he made it so it could zig and zag and whatever, and he put his cape on Krypto. And so therefore, yeah, so Krypto was the answer. He blew Superboy's identity, but then Krypto also helped him in restoring his identity to Lana. So that's pretty cool. Superboy then returns Krypto to his doghouse and says he loves his dog, but Krypto seems like he will be more trouble than fun. So Superboy has to sleep on it. What is he going to do to figure out what's next? But the next day, Krypto is gone. Superboy peers into space. He has vision that can not only see through walls, but it can see very far distances. And so he looks into space, and he realizes that Krypto just wants to be a frisky pup and roam in his backyard, which happens to be the universe because he's a super dog. Superboy says he's glad the pup is gone. But is he really? It's the only dog Clark has ever had. Clark ends by hoping Krypto will come back and say hello one day. Sadly, Krypto is gone, and so must I be for this episode. So what do you think? I think Krypto needs some training, as all dogs do, to become not only a good boy, but a great boy. He is just doing what dogs do, only he's a super dog. But what are your thoughts on Krypto and the story as a whole? Let me know in the comments section. Also, James Gunn said the Krypto in the new Superman movie was based off his own dog, which seems very much like this Krypto in the comics at first, very misbehaved. I'm sure with a little training, Krypto would be one of Clark's best friends, just like dogs are called man's best friend. I would love to hear any similarities between Krypto and your dog or pet. Thank you for joining me for this 3-part series. Is Krypto a good dog or a good boy? And I appreciate you listening in if you took the time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. This is a newer channel, so any support is welcome. And hopefully you learned a little bit about Krypto's first appearance in the comics. If you've not seen the new James Gunn Superman movie, I highly recommend it. Go check it out. And also, if you want to read more about Krypto, my suggestion would be go to Google, type a local comic shop in your area, local comic store, find the closest one, and go ask them. Say, hey, do you guys have any comics about Krypto, the super dog? And, hopefully they'll be able to point you in the right direction. If not, there's always eBay and all the resources online that we use. So, all right, once again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hope y'all have a great day and stay super.